just everyone, reminder that this meeting is recorded and anything you say will be recorded and posted on our AMATS website when we post the meeting recording. So at the top of my list, that's me, Joni. I am here with AMATS. We also have Chelsea Ward Waller.
Here. Good evening.
Excellent. Good evening. Daryl, our chair.
Here.
Jesse Doherty.
I'm here.
Great. We also have Emily Weiser.
Here.
Excellent. We also have Aaron Yanganalen with AMATS.
Here.
Thank you, Aaron. We've got Mark Eisenman with DOT.
Nice pronunciation. Thank you.
Was that right?
That was absolutely correct. Yeah, it was great.
Oh, excellent. Okay, well, must be my German background.
Show off.
Yep. Okay, Matt Johnson. Matt, are you here? I think you're showing up as here. Well, we'll put a question mark, but you can come. He probably might have stepped away for a second. Katie Severin.
Hi, Joni. Here.
Hi, Katie. Thanks for joining us. James Starzik is with DOT.
Hello.
Hello. And that's all we've got in our room right now. We'll probably get some others joining in. I do want to congratulate Katie and Michael, who's actually, I don't think Michael has joined us yet, but they are our newest BPAC members. So thank you for submitting your nominations to become part of the BPAC, and we are excited to have you. So with that, I will send it back over to Daryl.
Thank you. Welcome, Katie. Aaron, you want to do our public involvement announcement?
No, but I will. So all AMATS meetings are open to the public, and the public is invited to participate and attend. Action items are first presented on by staff or consultant, and then after the committee has discussed it, it's turned back over to the public, where the public is invited to participate. Each member of the public is given 3 minutes to participate on an action item, and we will record that and have a little beeper so people can hear. And just a quick note for those who are joining us on a phone, if you would like to mute or unmute, please press *6. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. With that, could I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll move to
approve
the agenda for the June 7 BPAC meeting.
Can we get
I'll
a
second?
Is there any additions? See no and hearing no requests for additions, is there any opposition to approving the agenda? The agenda is approved. Could I get a motion to approve the minutes from the March 1st, 2022 meeting?
Approved.
This is Chelsea. I can second that.
All right. Any discussion? Any opposition to approving the minutes? With seeing and hearing no opposition, the minutes of the March 1st meeting are approved. Joni, perhaps this is a good time for the new Anchorage area planner to introduce themselves.
Yes, thank you, Daryl. We have a new Anchorage area planner with DOT. Mark Eisenman is here. Mark, do you want to say a few words?
Sure. So hi everybody, my name's Mark. I came over from Highway Data and at DOT. I was there 3 years helping with the short-term traffic program. And before that, I was working at Fish and Game as a habitat and fisheries biologist. And so I've been in the Anchorage area planner position for about a month now. Still learning quite a bit and meeting a lot of people, but I'm really enjoying it. So thanks.
Thank you.
All right. We have no action items, so we'll move into item 6, general information. Our first item is an update on the 2050 MTP.
Great. And I think Aaron will be giving us a brief update on that.
Yes, sorry, I was muted. I was just talking,
Oh, yeah.
just going off
Yeah,
and
we'll
just
go
having a
now.
good time.
I know it, and I know the feeling.
Thank you, Joni. Hey, everyone, I'm back again. So I just wanted to give you a quick update on the 2050 MTP. So we just started our nomination period for the 2050 MTP. It runs through July 11th, and this is the perfect time to get a project nominated for this long-range transportation plan. As of right now, or June 2nd, we have 158 comments or nominations submitted to us, plus the 120 plus nominations that were included as part of the TIP nomination process that'll be carried forward. So we have quite a lot, and we still have over a month left for the nomination process. So I just kind of want to show you how to do the nomination for the 2050 MTP. So it's a little different, than what we've done in the past, because we're doing away with the nomination form. And so instead, we're just going to be asking people to do a email or comment as part of our interactive map. So what you can do is you can go to amats2050.com. And if you go up to this participate and click on it, you'll kind of see our little nominate a project for the 2050 MTP. So you click on that. And so this gives you kind of an overview of where we're at or what this is doing. So we're at the project nomination stage. It's kind of talking about which projects will be included in the 2050 MTP, which projects will be nominated that you don't have to nominate yourself. So anything that was nominated for the 23 through 26 TIP, but not included in the TIP itself, is being carried forward for the nomination process. And then what staff's going to do is go through the CIP for each community council within our area and pull the top 3 projects and bring those forward for consideration for the nominations in the 2050 MTP. We've already received some of those lists from the community council, so they're sending them in on their own, but we will also kind of go through and pick the top 3 projects. I do want to just clarify the top 3 transportation projects from there. Some of the CIP lists have projects that aren't eligible under our funding, so we'll go through and get the top 3 transportation projects out of there. So to make a comment, you have 2 choices, the interactive comment map or an email. So if you do an email, it's amatsinfo@anchorageak.gov, and we kind of explain some information we would like to see in that email. So what issue, and we list a couple of issue or examples of issues. So, you know, it's helping with mobility or helping with equity or safety. This is not an exhaustive list of issues. This is just to help bring forward some ideas. Give us a brief project description. And then we also note, if you know the project is part of an area-wide plan, please list what plan it is included in. That helps us a lot. And then project location. This is probably one of the most important ones. Telling us that there's a problem on Tudor Road without giving us kind of what that problem is or maybe where that problem is located is kind of hard. So kind of be as specific as you can of the location. If there is a whole problem on Tudor Road, that's fine. We would just need to know what that problem is. The interactive comment map is here. So we've actually been getting a lot of good responses for this interactive comment map because I think most people find it pretty intuitive to use and fun to be able to kind of pin a location and put their concern down. So as you can see, we've already gotten a lot of interests in the area. And each one of these is a pin that somebody has put down that will take forward and develop a nomination for it. And if you click on it, you can kind of give some general connection or routes through this area. You know, ped crossings are needed. So what we'll basically do is just kind of zoom in to where the project is located. So this one is Benson Boulevard. Oops. Benson Boulevard between Denali and the Seward Highway. So, okay, now we know the general location of what they're talking about here and what the concerns are, and we can develop a nomination out of that. We're hoping that this is a little easier for members of the public to be able to just let us know their concern, and then we as staff do all the work to develop the nomination. Whereas in the past, we've put a lot more of that on the public, and they found it kind of hard to go through every single plan we have out there, or safety or information or study or anything else, and get that to us. So just a reminder, the nomination period closes July 11th. So please get your nominations in as quick as you can. Once the comment period closes, then we're going to do our work to get all the nominations together, get all the information together, and then the scoring team will go through and score all those projects. And then we'll move on to the next step. So that's all I have at this point. Thank you.
Any questions for Aaron? Aaron, this is Daryl. I'm curious, does it look like with this new format, I've looked at it a couple of times and I really like the interactive map. Does it appear that we're going to have a greater number of nominations than we normally have with this new online process? It just seems a lot easier for the public to participate.
I think so. It's kind of hard to tell because for the 2040 MTP, we had a 3-day charrette where we got nominations or project recommendations for people. We got a lot from that. So since we haven't closed the nomination period, I'm not sure, but you know, so far we do have a lot of nominations already in a pretty short time period. So one of the things we will have to do is go through each of the nominations that were submitted to us and remove duplicates, because people can put duplicates in here, and then kind of refine some of them, because you know, if people put something in there that isn't eligible, we'll have to kind of figure out what to do with that. But so far we've gotten a pretty good turnout.
Thanks, Aaron. Any other questions for Aaron? Next item is an update on the 2023-2026 TIP. And is that Aaron or Joni?
That is me as well. So I just want to say thank you all for all your efforts on the 23 through 26 TIP. It was a lot of work to get the nominations in and then get a lot of positive feedback on the projects that were being recommended for that. The policy committee at their last meeting in May gave approval for the draft version of the 23 through 26 TIP with a few changes. And right now we're working on the interagency consultation. So we're bringing it forward to the federal, state, and local air quality individuals to review the plan and to develop our air quality conformity determination, which basically reviews all the projects to make sure that we're not worsening air quality or impacting our statewide improvement plan projects. And so once that's done in the next 2 months or so, it'll come back before the TAC and Policy Committee for final approval in August. And so we have to get that done before the end of the fiscal year, which is September 30th of 2022. So we are in a crunch time right now. That's all I had.
Any questions for Aaron? Thank you, Aaron. Are you the next update on AMAT's planning projects?
Nope. I believe that's Joni or others.
Well,
thank you.
That's me. Thanks, Aaron. And then John, I think John is here. Well, he's not quite here. He had another meeting that he had to be at, but he should be here in a minute. He's going to do our UMED presentation. Yeah, so I'll just give a brief update on our AMAT's projects that we've got going on. First of all, we had a maintenance forum a couple weeks ago. We had, or it might have been 3 weeks ago now, but we had our second AMATS maintenance forum, and that was pretty well attended. So thanks to those of you who joined us for that. We had some really good presentations. We had presentations from Parks and Rec, Stephen Refuse, and Bart Rudolph gave really nice presentations. We also had folks talking from DOT maintenance and operations, and then Paul with our M&O maintenance and operations, and then Lance Wilbur, who's the public works director, also spoke on maintenance. So there were a lot of good ideas, and we were trying to, and AMATS also gave a presentation on all the data that we accumulated during the non-motorized planning effort. So that will be hopefully being integrated into some new maintenance strategies for wintertime. That's our goal. So we're trying to schedule a meeting now, follow-up meeting, to move forward on that goal, to create a prioritized winter maintenance map. So, and I was contacted, I think, by Emily Weiser earlier this week, just wondering how folks can get more involved and make sure that we get more funding and more resources allocated towards maintenance. And I think I responded that it might be good to also reach out to the maintenance departments directly, and just let them know that this is a really important issue for you and your advocacy group, and that will hopefully help them want to move forward on working with all the players to allocate for more funding. And certainly we are trying to advocate for that in our planning. And so that's where we're at on that. Does anyone have questions on that maintenance forum while I'm talking about that right now?
Joni, this is Daryl. Is there a recording available?
There is. It should. I believe it's. I believe it's up on the AMATS website.
Okay, cool. Because
So
it was worth. It was great, and I think some members of the committee who couldn't attend might want to watch the video.
Oh yeah, excellent. No, it would be. It was very good. I think all the presentations were really good, and I think it was a good discussion. And yeah, it's a big issue. It's one of our biggest. So definitely go online and check that out. And I will. Oh, look, Aaron's looking for the link right now, but I can also send the link out to the group after the meeting, or in the chat here. So that was a big thing that we got done. So that was good. And then we are working right now on moving forward a safety plan. So that's in purchasing right now. It's a municipal purchasing department. So we're just waiting on them to give us approval to proceed with the RFP process. And once that happens, we can move forward on selecting a consultant, putting the project out for bid, and then selecting consultant and beginning with that. We also, so two projects, key projects that this group I'm sure will be very interested in are the street typologies plan and the recreational trails plan. Both were approved in the TIP. So those have funding and will be moving forward after October, after the money is obligated. So I'm currently working on RFPs for both of those. We are hoping that Parks and Rec is going to take the lead on the recreational trails plan. But if they don't, well, we'll certainly be helping out with that. But if they don't, then AMATS will be taking the lead. But at any rate, it should be a joint effort because they're the experts on the recreational trails plan here in our area. So, but I think they're pretty excited about it too. And so I'm working on the RFP for that with Stephen Refuse, and then also working on the street typologies RFP, which I know this group has heard about before, but basically it's looking at combining street classifications with the surrounding land use, and figuring out how to best design a street depending on what its adjacent land use is doing. So that'll be really important and a big step for us with AMATS with combining transportation and land use, and it'll hopefully render some really good data and design specifications and a map to show us where our street typologies are throughout our area. So those are the three big big projects that are going to be coming up in 2022 and 2023. And I think that's all I had on my list right now. I wonder, I'm trying to see if if John's here yet. I don't see him on yet, but does anyone have any questions on those 3 items? No. Well, we're going to zip through this meeting here. Well, we could, while we're waiting for John to join us, we could potentially just move on to committee comments maybe. And can we do that? Committee comments?
The next item is update on Destination UMED.
Yeah, so that's what John Cecil is our
Okay.
UMED planner, and he's going to give the presentation on that, but I don't see him on here yet. He said he was going to be joining us right after another meeting, so he may be held up for a minute, but
Well, we'll have to come back to him.
we will, yes.
So any comments by committee members?
This might be our fastest meeting ever.
Comments? Chelsea.
Thanks, Daryl. Yeah, I guess I was just wondering if the committee was interested at all. I was biking around town quite a bit today. I'm just back in town recently after being in Juneau for the session. But I was wondering if there was any role for us, and maybe Joni and Aaron can speak to this, and if so, if there was any interest from the committee about maybe collaborating on summer maintenance, noticing that a lot of the trails and the bike lanes are not clear yet, and I know that takes time, but I also know that the roads have been clear for quite a while. So it'd be great if those areas were prioritized at all, or even just given any attention at all, I guess. And yeah, so I'm not sure if that's something that we as a committee could write a letter on and just send it to DOT and Muni maintenance and just say, hey, just a reminder that a lot of people bike and walk around our town, and if there's any opportunity for us to speak to that and not point fingers, but just remind folks that that there are other modes of transportation that are being used out there. I was also seeing that some construction signs and stuff were perhaps not being used 100% appropriately and blocking non-motorized options on the roads. And so, yeah, I'm not sure if that's something that the committee is interested in or if that's appropriate for us to be speaking to, but I thought that could be an opportunity for us to just a little friendly reminder to our maintenance and construction folks.
Yeah, I definitely think that would be something that you could speak to. I think that the maintenance forum follow-up that we were going to do was definitely including all season. So I think some other folks had mentioned that the importance of doing all season maintenance. So that would definitely be something that we could bring into that follow-up meeting and see how to move forward on. Okay. I think actually Lance maybe even mentioned it too. But yeah,
if there's an opportunity for me to be involved and help bring that up, I'd be happy to, or happy to let others as well.
Just to comment on what Chelsea brought up is, I've noticed too, when I'm out biking and walking with construction season, a lot of the big metal rectangular signs, they're placed in sidewalks where there's not the minimum ADA 36 inches. So I pick up the phone and I call the department director, and they usually have the contractor, well, they do have the contractor go out and move them. So sometimes when we see those things, it would be nice if we pick up the phone or send an email to the city or state to make sure that the issue's taken care of, because I've seen them block bike lanes and seen them block sidewalks unnecessarily. So that's a very good point. Matt.
Yeah, thanks, Daryl. I would just add to the conversation that in our neighborhood here, in Midtown, we usually see the street sweepers come out and sweep up all the residual gravel from last winter's snowfall or the gravel that they put down on the road. And we haven't seen that at all. Not in this neighborhood. There's quite a bit of gravel left over, which I wonder if anybody can provide any more information on that. Have they had a budget cut? Are they just slow this year? Any info on that topic?
I don't, Matt, this is Joni. I don't know. I do know that around the municipal building too, it was very slow this year to get the gravel swept up, and I actually complained about it to the to our gal there that is in charge of all that, and then it happened like the next weekend. But I don't know why. It did seem slow this year too, but I don't know why exactly. She said that there were a bunch of other buildings that needed to be cleared. But I think this year, especially with all the heavy snow, they just had a lot more than usual, is kind of what she was saying.
And I do think that the gravel does provide or create sort of a hazard in terms of traction for bikes. It also makes it more difficult to walk, push strollers, that sort of thing, when there's kind of chunky gravel on the roadbed.
Yeah, for sure.
So Matt, this is Daryl. I would recommend calling municipal street maintenance. I mean, frankly, maybe they forgot your neighborhood. It's not, it's not impossible. And their number is 343-8277.
All right, 343-8277.
Just give them a call and see if they forgot your street.
Yeah, I will do that. I look forward.
I've seen it happen.
I look forward to seeing them come through. It's kind of like a harbinger of spring, so I'll call them. Yeah.
It's a little late.
Hey, Matt, this is Emily Weiser. I put a link in the chat for the street sweeping map, and I was noticing they were kind of spiraling in on your part of the city. So you might just be last, or if it does show that your sector is finished, then yeah, that definitely needs a phone call.
Great, thank you, Emily. I'll check that out.
Any other comments from members?
Sorry, everyone. I'm just trying to. Can everyone see that? Spenard
Corridor plan?
Well, for some reason, I apologize. My computer is letting me share my screen, but not the right thing. So sorry, as I continue to work on this.
So I do have something I was thinking about. Was it last year or the year before we did a bike tour? And I was just wondering if the committee is interested, committee and staff, of doing another bike tour or walking tour. If we can think of some projects or some areas that it would be beneficial for us to look at. I think we had a fun time and we learned quite a bit on the bike tour that we did.
Daryl, I was going to say that I think that's a great idea, and I was suggesting that to Aaron earlier today. I would love to do another bike tour, and I'm sure that there's some new infrastructure that we could tour. Since our last one, which I believe was 2 years ago now.
For those of us who weren't on the committee then, Joni and Daryl, could you maybe give kind of a summary of like what the goal was of that tour and what you saw and what you talked about? At least in general terms, even if you don't remember details.
Sure. No, we biked on new infrastructure, and we had created a little map which I can send out. But we started at Spenard Road, near the comic book shop, John Middleton's comic book, Bosco's. And then I believe we biked north down to through downtown area to we biked on the new E Street bike lane all the way down, and then sort of simulated where the new Brian Looney was leading us and simulated where the new connection to Ship Creek would go. So we biked along there, and then we biked along the Ship Creek Trail through Mountain View, through some new infrastructure on Mountain View, and then around, I believe, to Peterkin Street. And then along a new bike lane, about the first buffered bike lane that we have in this city here. And then came back around, I believe, to the Chester Creek Trail and did like a big loop. We had plans to go actually look at one other facility and go to the ice cream shop, but we it was getting late, so people just went home. But it was that about right? Did I miss anything, Daryl?
No, you hit it. And it was interesting to actually, for some members, some of us had biked those new projects or the area with the proposed project. Some members hadn't. So it was an opportunity for members of the committee to see what was happening, what was being planned, and to actually experience some of the new infrastructure.
Yeah, no, it was great. So it'd be something again like that we could do if the committee is interested in it. I'm just checking to see. We do have one comment here from Heath, R. Heath. And it's in the chat box, but they're asking to speak to current or potential developments for cycling and pedestrians from Elmore to Rabbit Creek Road via the bike path on Birch Road or otherwise. So, and just saying this area is not safe. If the person who wrote that comment, Rachel, oh, sorry, Rachel's microphone doesn't work. Okay, well, this is currently not safe way, and I am aware of, according to the available, and that I am aware of according to the available maps. The shoulder on Hillside Drive, where there is an established bike path, is very narrow, and Birch Road bike path ends on DeArmond, which is a very narrow shoulder. Also, can someone briefly discuss any plans for the city to develop a bike path that allows cyclists and pedestrians to exit the city from the south? So I will have to double check the non-motorized plan to see if we have a facility plan for Birch Road. I don't think there is one, or that's top of my mind right now, but I will double check and look. As far as, we do have some improvements in that area in the non-motorized plan that I just need to look for, and then I can send you that map, Rachel, from our plan. And then also we do have some plans to connect to greater to like the south of our AMATS border and north. And those will probably come in the recreational trails plan. We mostly focused on the main network that we've got for utilitarian and major recreational use here in the AMATS area. So but there definitely are, we got lots of comments, especially from Anchorage Parks Foundation and others that are encouraging us to look at connecting to the broader trails. So like down to Girdwood and Seward, and then north and stuff like that. So I can answer that better. Sorry, I don't have the plan in front of me, but I can answer that better. I'll send you what we have when I get back to the office tomorrow. And let me just see if John, yeah, you bet. John, oh, John's here. Excellent. John?
Yes. Hi, Joni.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. Now that I got my mouse working.
Oh, great, great. Hey, listen, I'm having some trouble sharing my screen. So I'm gonna throw this laptop away and just get a new one, because it's the second time this has happened to me. But are you able to share your screen by chance? Okay,
so
let me I do have your presentation. I can load it, but
let me see. I have it loaded, so
Okay,
this
excellent.
happens. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, so I take it it's my turn to go?
Yes, sir, you can feel free to jump in.
Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is John Cecil. I'm a senior planner here with AMATS, and I work with Joni and the rest of the crew. And I appreciate the opportunity to take a few minutes to talk to each of you, or the BPAC, about a new study that AMATS has undertaken that I think a lot of you or all of you will be very interested in learning about and hearing more about. So I appreciate next 10-15 minutes to go through some slides and then open it up for questions if that's okay. So in April of this year, well, prior to April, we went out to bid for a consultant team to complete a study of the UMED area for the purposes of transportation demand management, or TDM, which is a terribly wonky acronym, but and I'll explain more here as we get into it a little bit. So the tagline, the branding for it is Destination UMED, more travel choices, more opportunity. Let's see. Okay, so we have a high-powered consultant team, Nelson Nygaard. They're a national firm. They do a lot of work with transportation planning across the country. And then we have some local sub-consultants, R&M and Kinney Engineering. And then there's also a sub-consultant to the Nelson Nygaard team as well, that with Paulo Nunes Uno, who's a strategic planning consultant. So just a quick project overview. So what is Destination UMED? Well, the purpose of this project, of this study, is to conduct and develop a phased and actionable plan and toolkit for district stakeholders to improve travel to, from, and within the UMED district. And it's all encompassing. It will look at projects, policies, and programs to reduce traffic congestion, improve mobility choices, and enhance equitable access to UMED destinations. So where did this come from? And it's probably many of you may know or are familiar with. In 2016, the planning department completed the UMED district plan. And within that plan, there was a goal and recommendations to fund a transportation demand management study to quote, determine options for reducing single occupant vehicle travel into the district, unquote, and continue the established UMED district coordination process to leverage resources and implement in the UMED district. So the study area that we're looking at is bounded by this dash boundary, as you see it here, and includes APU and UAA, school district, Providence, Alaska Native Medical Center, which includes South Central Foundation and ANTHC, as well as some of the state institutions on the west side of the district. This is another way of looking at it in terms of there's three major bus routes that go through UMED that's significant and that exit the area. There is also, as many of you know, there's a bike network within the district that's very important and a major piece of infrastructure within Anchorage. There is also a pedestrian network as well. And so we'll be taking a look at all of these pieces and others in terms of the overall scope of the project. So as I mentioned, we kicked off in early April. We had our first advisory committee meeting here about 2 weeks ago among all the major stakeholders within UMED. And then there were follow-up interviews, conversations with some of the primary stakeholders. So for example, Providence, UAA, APU. We're following up with the school district soon. And we also spoke with ANTHC and South Central Foundation. So there's 9 tasks in 4 phases. So the phase 1 we're in is discovery, collecting a ton of data, and then doing public improvement, public outreach. We have a new webpage in development that's up and online. Phase 2 is the desire, where we'll be reviewing best practices and defining measurements of success. Phase 3 is the design phase, where the consultants will start to identify particular strategies, look at scenario development, and then come up with what they're calling a TDM toolkit and implementation plan. And then last but not least, task 9 is the documentation phase, where we will actually have a blueprint, TDM blueprint, that we can implement, subject to, support from the community as well as the stakeholders within UMED. So we don't want this to be a study that just sits on a shelf. We actually want deliverables that we can actually start to implement over the short, medium, and long term. Maybe I should just back up. There will be multiple methods for communication, education with the public and the various committees, such as yourself and others. I've already spoken with this community advisory committee, the freight advisory committee, talking to the technical advisory committee tomorrow, which I think is or Thursday, and then the policy committee later this month. So we have a pretty aggressive timeline to get all of this work done. As I said, we've started spring 2022. We hope to have the final TDM plan wrapped up by the summer of 2023. And as you'll see, there will be other workshops and opportunities for public participation. So for those of you who may not know, as I mentioned, TDM is this wonky acronym, but all it really means is providing more transportation options and giving people safe and convenient choices to get where they need to go, and making it easier overall to reduce single occupant vehicle trips over time. And the way to do that, as Nelson Nygaard tells us, is prioritizing carrots versus sticks. And so, for example, sticks would be, like raising parking prices. And there's, as far as I know, there's only one institution within UMED that does charge for parking. Everyone else has free parking. So that may be a disincentive to reduce single occupant vehicle trips, as just one example. And there's many other carrots that could be looked at, that will be looked at as part of this project. Oops, did the timeline. I think we've gone backwards. Okay, so some of the benefits. Again, reducing vehicle trips, mitigating traffic congestion, improving satisfaction among students, employees, residents within the area, improving the public health, promoting sustainability and reducing transportation emissions, which are all goals of the MTP, enhancing transportation equity. And by that, I mean, as you probably all know, not everyone is lucky enough to have a car. Some folks have to rely on alternative means of transportation, or they have to use, various ways of getting around. And we want to make sure that to make the transportation modes within and into and out of UMED as equitable as we can possibly do it. And then also, at the same time, supporting economic growth and lower development costs. So here's some of these are some of the things that could be done in terms of physical improvements and changes, policies and programs, marketing and management, and the pricing, which I've just kind of mentioned about the parking component. So there's a lot of different things that we can be looking at. Oops, keep on going the wrong way. Okay, that's it. I appreciate your time and attention, and will gladly, if invited, be glad to come back and brief the BPAC on where we stand with the UMED project. And Joni, I guess at this point, I'll be happy to try and answer any questions that the committee members may have.
Sounds great. Thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
Any questions for John?
Yeah, I have a question. This is Matt, and yeah, thanks for the presentation, John. So is this a similar project to other projects that have been proposed over the years for the UMED district, which involved punching roads through the existing, I guess I would call it a greenbelt area. I'm not sure how to describe it other than that, but this has been a contentious project in the past. Is this just reintroducing that same project and looking for a different result, I guess is my question.
Okay, so great question, and thank you for that question. No, this is not about the road. This is not about that particular piece of infrastructure, though it's certainly something that can be ignored. But that's not what the purpose is for this particular study and evaluation of UMED is. Regardless of whether or not the road or roads, are built, we would still want to do this project, this study, this analysis of UMED, because it's encompasses more than just infrastructure. It's strategies, it's policies, it's ways of making transportation more efficient and effective within UMED for all of the users, not just the institutions, but patients, students, pedestrians, bicyclists, all those, everyone who has an interest in that area. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, sure. And just a quick follow-up, if I may. Will you access any of those previous studies and materials that I'm guessing are archived somewhere? Will you bring those into the into your considerations or analyze that data and those resources?
Yes. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No worries.
Yeah, briefly, yes, we've supplied the consultant team with a ton of data already, and they're collecting more data as we speak. And they are aware of the road and how contentious and some of the history that goes with that particular project within UMED. But again, they're not going to delve too deep into the road itself as a piece of infrastructure. They're looking at higher level issues beyond just the road that impact UMED. But yes, they will take that into consideration.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for the question.
Lindsay and then Emily.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for introducing this project to us. It wasn't one that I have been aware of, but these planning projects are something that the BPAC is well positioned to weigh in on and help advise on as it moves forward. So I just wanted to see if I missed it, if there is opportunity to comment or to request that when there are opportunities to weigh in, that those would be ideal times to either share materials with the BPAC ahead of time or to present so that we can weigh in or pass resolutions when the timing is right. So just wanted to see if you could clarify that, if it's open now or if you'll be able to come back.
Okay, yeah, thank you for the question. And the short answer is yes, there will be multiple opportunities here between now and next year, next summer, for BPAC to weigh in on this study. And for the interest of time, I deleted or hid one of the maybe I should say hid, but it's in the background that was diagrammatic that showed the advisory committee and then the other interests such as BPAC, the Freight Advisory Committee, Citizens Advisory Committee. All of those committees will be briefed. We'll have access to all of the information, and we'll have multiple opportunities to provide input along the way. And I work closely with Joni. She's just 2 doors down, and I know Joni's not afraid of knocking on my door and letting me know what's going on and what the BPAC is concerned about. So yeah, so we welcome that input and look forward to it.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Emily?
Yeah, hi, I just wanted to say thanks for this presentation, John. I work in the UMED district, and my commute is super easy and nice and congestion free because it's on the bike trail. So I think this study is a really great opportunity to maximize on the benefits of that area. And yeah, I'm excited to hear that one of the goals is to reduce the number of cars going into the UMED area. And it seems to me, on the point that Matt brought up about that road, I think it's like the Bragg UMED extension or something. Anyway, that road may become a moot point if the number of cars driving into the UMED area is reduced. So yeah, I think this is an exciting project, and I hope that we can stay tuned as it progresses.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate your perspective and support for the project. Obviously, you have direct personal interest, as do I'm sure many. I live in the district and commute on foot, on bike, and car. So yeah, I know there's going to be a lot of wide community interest because as you must know, UMED is the second largest employment center in Anchorage besides downtown. So there will be a lot of scrutiny, a lot of questions, and we welcome those, and we welcome the input from the BPAC.
John, this is Daryl. Has the project website, is it live yet?
Yes, it is, Daryl. It is.
Okay.
It is live. There's a fact sheet, limited amount of information there, but we're trying to quickly populate that based, with the notes from the first advisory committee meeting, and there's going to be a ton of photographs and more. As more data is collected and processed and put together, that will be available on the webpage.
Do you know if the contractor plans on posting some of the older studies and documents related to the UMED district?
Gerald, that's a really good question, and I'd have to talk to them about it. I haven't asked them that question. We haven't had a request necessarily on that, so that's something I can explore with Nelson Nygaard.
Okay, I was just curious because I think a lot of people are going to bring up past studies and
right
and proposals.
Right. The concern that we have at least sitting where I sit, is that because invariably, I called several institutions within UMED earlier this week who are new to the project, and invariably the first question that gets asked is, well, is this about the road? And, I have to chuckle and say, no, it's not directly about the road. It's about a lot of other things besides just the road. And so anyway, but it is a consideration. But there's a lot of other things that can be done in UMED besides just, as one of the members just pointed out, to improve how people and vehicles get around in UMED.
Well, I think one way to put it is this is a way to potentially develop some strategies so that the road is not needed.
I don't disagree with you, Daryl, and I think yes, that's certainly a potential. Yes.
So, any other questions for John? Well, thank you, John.
You're welcome. Thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it, and wish you the best of luck. And we'll be in touch again.
Thanks. We look forward to hearing updates.
Very good. Thank you, Daryl.
Thank you, John.
You bet. Thank you. See ya.
So that brings us back. Any more committee comments? All right. Do we have any public comments, Joni? I don't see it.
I see Emily's hand still up. I'm not sure if she just maybe left it up or if she has another comment.
Nope, I just forgot to lower it. Sorry about that. It doesn't turn
Okay.
yellow anymore. It's confusing.
No problem. Yeah, we can open it up for public comments if anyone from the public wants to comment.
We'll give it a second to see if there's anything in the chat.
Chat box. Let's see. Oops.
No, I don't see any.
Anything.
All right.
Aaron included the UMED study link in there as well.
All right. If there's no public comments, can we get a motion to adjourn?
This is Chelsea. I'll move to adjourn.
I'm going to second Chelsea's motion then.
Sorry, Matt, for talking over you.
All right.
So that was a motion by a second by Chelsea and a motion just for the minutes. Motion by who to adjourn?
I think Matt and I, Joni, this is Chelsea. I think Matt and I were both motioning to adjourn, and I think Lindsay seconded. So I don't know how you want to write that down.
Gotcha.
We can arm wrestle for it next time we meet in person.
Yeah, we'll flip a coin. Okay, thank you.
And if I may jump in, I was suggesting I had one more comment that I wanted to make before.
Matt, that sounds good, but we can barely hear you. I don't know if it's just me. Can you speak more directly into your microphone?
Oh boy, it could be my phone is getting very old. Can you hear me now? If not, that's okay.
Yes, we can hear you now.
All right. So, yeah, I just wanted to say briefly that I hope I didn't come across too sort of negatively with John's presentation, but when I heard that this project was coming back, I honestly thought to myself, well, here we go again. I do appreciate the folks who pointed out that, well, maybe, and I agree with the point of view that maybe the study will indicate that, we don't need a big road and that this can be done with other means. But still in all, just knowing politics and especially the divided state of politics that we seem to have in, everywhere these days, I'm nervous about it, and I'm suspicious, to be honest. It seems like they're just sort of, taking another run at it. And anyway, that's my point of view on it. I just wanted to make clear that I hope I didn't come across too negative, but I'm hopeful that they are sincere in their approach to this project and not trying to ram something through.
Matt, you're not the only person that's going to have those concerns. As John said, he's had to address similar concerns at all the presentations he's been doing. So Aaron has his hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify so people understand that this TDM project is not the UMED project, the Burgaw Extension project coming back. This is a brand new type of study that's never been done before here in Anchorage. So that's looking at these transportation demand options. So basically non-large scale roadway improvement options that can be done. So, just be aware, this is not the roadway project coming back. This is something brand new.
Well, it's the kind of study that I think members of the BPAC will like because it looks at alternatives.
All right, well, that's reassuring, and I appreciate the additional info, and thanks very much. I'll keep my eyes and ears open as we move forward.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Any opposition? All right, good night, everybody. Great meeting. Hopefully we'll do a bike tour this summer.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, everyone. I will, I'll get to work on a potential map where we can bike some infrastructure. I think that'd be fun.
Thanks, Joni. Maybe some of our consultants and state partners might also have some ideas.
Yeah, for sure. And if there's any, also since we're incorporating land use too, if there's any really nice, mixed use development or building that is along improved roadway or landscape path, like we should include that too, and we could tour that as well.
Is there anything nice next to Fire Island?
Yeah, exactly. There's got to be something. We can find something.
Okay. Good night, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Bye, all.